Hi guys, welcome. Holly King Wellness. Good day to you or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to my channel. This is Holly King Wellness on YouTube. And so for those of you that have followed me in the recent past, you've subscribed to my previous page or my previous YouTube channel, which was the Reiki Station. And although that's still enacted and active, I've made the decision to move the content, the video content, over to my fresh new channel, and that is Holly King Wellness. And so before we get started, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to follow along, because I think as we go along through the journey together here at Holly King Wellness and getting into what's going on in the world beyond just my own personal doings, I think it's going to be super imperative that you're able to understand the concept of wellness, and that you understand that as a therapist, we too have our challenges when it comes to through to our journeys. And so today I want to focus on something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and that's the word empath or empathy. And so I've been reading this book here, so I'm going to give a shout out to this author here, which is Judith Orloff MD, and so I'm assuming the video is probably backwards for you, but that's fine. That's YouTube, guys. So anyway, it's the Empaths Survival Guide, Life's Strategies for Sensitive People. And so Judith is, she's a physician. She's an MD. She is a New York Times best-selling author who specializes in treating empaths and sensitive people in her private practice. In this particular guide, Dr. Judith offers an invaluable resource for highly sensitive people navigating through an overwhelming world. Here in this book, you will find practical tools that will help you honor your sensitivities while embracing your gifts of intuition, compassion, and spiritual connection. And so it's funny how I'm a book nerd, right? Nerdy. But I picked up this book on a day when I was in the Barnes & Noble bookstore, and I was looking for some things to help me develop my wellness journey, my meditation practice, my yoga path on a greater scale. And so for me, as an intuitive practitioner, as a wellness practitioner, a massage therapist, a Reiki master, a yoga teacher, I don't care what title you want to give me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a human being and I'm an empath. And so School for Empaths starts right here, right now. And so it's interesting when a book falls in your lap, when you find something that rearranges how our thoughts work. You get into maybe just the beginning context of the book, and you look and you go, oh my gosh, I want to follow this person because I believe that Dr. Orloff, that Judith, she has valuable insight to what it means to be an empath. And so if you're a spiritual person, and I don't want to put religion, out here in the forefront of this particular video, I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, deep, authentic, genuine spirituality. Because you know what? We are all dualistic in nature. And so, right brain, left brain, we can talk about black, white, we can talk about yin, yang, male, female, you name it. Opposites, guys, they attract. And so when you identify as a human being that you're born into this world with the sensitive gift of empathy, we realize all of a sudden that a lot of times people who are empathic in nature tend to have a lot of trauma in the beginning of their life, right? And so Dr. Orloff, she talks about emotional trauma. She talks about how the sensitive or the empath is born into a world typically of narcissistic people. And it's just a journey. It's just a process that a gifted one or someone on the spectrum or an empath has to go through in order to reach their full maximum potential. Follow? Capiche? And so for those of you that know me personally and on a personal level, I think it's time that we get real going forward with these wellness videos. And so I'm encouraging you to, again, listen in full to the videos. I know we have a busy world, ladies and gentlemen. You may not have time to engage in the next 15 minutes of understanding of what it means to actually live or be a part of an empath's world. Or maybe you are the empath. Most of my circles of healing women, people that do the healing works, therapists, nurses, practitioners, most of us acknowledge, we're willing when we look at each other face to face and the seer sees the seer and we say, oh my God, like you see me, you get it, like I'm an empath. And I run into many women who are in the holistic arts field or the nursing field or the medical field, and they're like, yeah, I'm an empath too, and I really didn't understand until recently what the definition of empath was. It's an impact. It truly is. It impacts your world as a human being. When we start to study the neurosciences of the brain, how the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body absorbs the energy of the environment around us. I'm just going to say us. Because when I got into her book and I started doing the work, I started actually leaving my sessions, having 30 minutes on hand to go, oh, I got 30 minutes, I need to stretch, I need to drink water, I need to get something to eat. When I'm in between my collective day working with my own clients, I like to educate myself on what it means to be a good holistic practitioner. Let me rephrase that. I like to study out what it means to be a phenomenal holistic practitioner. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what Holly King Wellness is about. And that's what these books are about. So I'm going to invite you, first of all, to order this book because a few of you ladies in particular, because a lot of empaths are more feminine, not always, the guys have it too, and it's in here, that we really are seriously talking about, for reals, starting a book club. We need support. And so, a little bit again about me. I am here in Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, however you want to say it. And I'm an empath. And I am surrounded by family, friends, clients, and loved ones and other practitioners that know that, ladies and gentlemen, this is real stuff. When are we going to stop sweeping the stuff under the rug and acting like, I'm fine, I'm a sensitive, like I pick up on other people's energy, but no, it's not a big deal. I don't need to take a salts bath. I don't need to go work out. I don't need to drink extra water. I don't need to disconnect myself from unhealthy, toxic relationships. I'm fine not dealing with the mental, emotional abuse that I had as a child. Bullshit. So, no, this video is not for children. But I want to talk more about what it means to be an empath. And so Judith goes through her contents and she says, basically, look, are you an empath? Take this test. Empaths and how they hold emotions and how it affects their own personal health and wellness. Drumming my fingers here, okay? Empaths and addiction. Whether they are the one who is addicted or they are the one who surrounds themselves with addictive personality people. And a lot of times empaths are born into some type of addiction environment, whether it's a parent, a grandparent, and if that's not the case, if you skate through your birth experience and you grew up in an uber healthy home, ladies and gentlemen, there are things called social empaths, right? So she gets into how we as empaths fall into addictive personalities, overeating, overstressing, what's going on in the subconscious world of our energy, and how being around toxic codependent relationships will affect our health to a negative degree, almost to the death. My role here as your teacher and your moderator on this video is to remind you that, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are of the sensitive nature of empaths, you might not feel good all the time, because in the world of technology and super knowledge, when you are in front of a camera, when you're in front of a client, a loved one, another human being, chances are you always feel like you need to be on for them, so that you're not collapsing in the stressed out, freaked out world of our subconscious energy, our three nervous systems, which is our central nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system, and our autonomic nervous system. This is about wellness, okay? She talks about empaths and how they parent and their roles in being either a giver or a taker when it comes to having an empath in the home. So a lot of times the child's born into a home, they're the empath, but one of the parents can be extremely strong in their energy, and so they're born into a narcissistic home or a home of abuse because they're here to help heal the collective energy of that home. Whether the child is the empath or the parent is the empath, it actually doesn't matter, because as we grow, as we identify who we are as an individual, and I'm Holly King, right? That's my name. That is my legal, non-birth given name. It's a chosen name. I chose that name. I took the name of Holly King. In all honesty, guys, it's my mother's maiden name. And after 4 marriages, that were give and take, ebb and flow of energy, I have learned as I come up on the age of 50, not too far down the road, that I need to work on healing my inner child. I want to work on those traumas in my current life that cause me to really have to walk away from people that I genuinely loved and adored, aka the men in my life, right? Because a lot of times the empaths and the healers are women. We run to those relationships at home where we look for the strong man to bail us out of what's going on in the world around us. And guys, this is for you, gentlemen, male gender people, people with male dominant energy. You're not always the bad guy. Sometimes women have had trauma that runs so deep in their cells, whether it's this lifetime or whether or not you believe in subconscious energy and it was a past life that we brought in with us. She talks about this stuff. Empaths will tend to fall into those relationship energies to try to fix, manage, and control someone else's pain body. And so another person that I follow that's on the mainstream is Eckhart Tolle, and he talks about the power of now and being in the power of now. We recognize that empaths, moms, that divine feminine, that divine energy that wants to keep the house clean, sweep the floor, work the job, put the lipstick on and make sure that it's perfect, have the white teeth, have the perfect body, everything that social media feeds into our minds as empaths, that this is what it's supposed to be like to be a perfect person. It's all bullshit. I'm going to keep this on there. So anyway, I knew that was going to fall, and in the right moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are powerful creatures. And I've been told, as a massage therapist, there's 2 worlds that we live in as body workers, okay, and as spiritual, enlightened people. We work on the sphere of spirituality to where we can bring in that healing, Jesus-like energy. And then we work in the physical world, and as an empath, as a body worker, as a collective intuitive who does a great job at helping other people redirect their energy, Many times, ladies and gentlemen, our energy can become so wonky and so out of balance that when we start to talk and we start to channel energy and we start to talk about what goes on in the brain, right, in this beautiful bioelectric, bioluminescence body, we start to talk about these things from a teaching standpoint. It says, oh, like I did that stupid thing because I'm an empath, or I was trying to help you, or I didn't know where my boundaries were, or that was something that I was processing, from my childhood. We fail to apologize for being an ultra sensitive. But should we? Should empaths apologize for being so ultra sensitive to their environment that they will self-destruct and self-implode and not be able to truly walk in the gift and the light that comes down when you're working with that naturopathic energy? Judith talks about intuition and extrasensory perception, ESP. So you've heard the term ESP before. You've probably all seen the movie The Sixth Sense, about the little boy who lived in his environment and he could see dead people. Oh my goodness. Mediumship. It's in the book. So why are we as empaths apologizing for our ultra sensitive gift to help others find their healing path? And going back to what I was saying, we've been told that you can no longer call yourself a healer when you're in the medical, the world of consciousness that says, take a pill for everything, okay? And so when I started this journey as a wellness practitioner, it's just what I'm going to call myself here because I wear many hats, it was because I had access to information, right? World dominant information, our medical community. I had access to billions and billions of dollars of data, and I was watching the patterns back in 2000 when I was working behind the scenes as an insurance agent. I could see the patterns of sickness and disease and lifestyle as it pertained to the medications that were being prescribed to people on a financial scale, right? So basically I was crunching the numbers, right? And I'm like going, wait a minute. Stress and anxiety and obesity and heart disease and diabetes and like all of these mental emotional issues that we're dealing with, addictive personality and general anxiety disorder and bipolarism and all these things that we are medicating on or self-medicating on, alcohol, food, marijuana, it doesn't matter. Heroin. As a spiritual creature, I'm like, wait a minute. When are we going to take personal responsibility for everything that we do as a human being? And so in the year 2000 through the year 2014, as I had access to the financial side of our collective data, God, Spirit, said, Holly, I want you to pay attention because there's going to come a day you're going to need to speak about what it means to self-heal. What it means to self-heal, ladies and gentlemen. And so one of the keys that I found in my own journey was that I had to stop apologizing for being an empath. I had to stop apologizing for being a seer. I had to stop apologizing for holding myself accountable for how I walk and talk and things I put in my body and how I eat and the way I handle stress and the way I handled my codependent relationships with men. So along the way, after a couple of marriages and raising my kids and realizing that if I wanted to be a genuine human being, work on myself, get the excessive pounds off, stop making excuses of why I would go home after a busy day of work, making close to $100,000 a year, and go home and down a bottle of red wine because I couldn't deal with everything that I had dealt with in that day. So, too much information. Collective data. And I made a change. I made a very scary change. And I walked away from close to a 6-figure corporate job, which many of my clients now were a part of that world with me. And I said, one day, they're going to get it. Like, it's about taking personal responsibility first before we end up in a place physically where we are completely dependent on a system that is not about finding natural ways to heal. It's tough, ladies and gentlemen, to walk away from your life when you realize that you are in a toxic situation. And a lot of times, it comes from within. Most of the time, ladies and gentlemen, it's because we, the empath, is walking in a place of empowerment. We have come into this journey. When I was born in 1972, we've come into this journey to help heal the planet. So in 2011-12, I started meditating, asking Spirit for guidance, walked away from my corporate job, which I miss dearly. I miss the strategy. I miss the collectiveness. I miss my groups. I miss the interaction. I miss the networking. And I just said, you know what? It's time for me to work on myself. And I started doing Reiki. Reiki. Nobody knew what I was talking about. Nobody. They thought I had lost my ever-loving Scorpio mind. But ladies and gentlemen, I started studying the pieces of holistic health. I certified, registered, whatever, in Reiki. I'm a 7th level Reiki master, whatever that means. And I can explain to you what that means. I took my 200-hour yoga teacher training. I became a licensed massage therapist. I'm a licensed massage therapist in 2 states now. I have performed thousands of sessions with my clients. Mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic. And as a therapist, I can say this much. I don't regret making that change, although financially it's been a challenge. I do not regret for one moment making that change, that career change. And ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it. I am doing my own work. So, and I'm about half blind. So, as I read this book and I get into all of the reasons why we need to understand what it means to be an empath in this world and to survive through the stress and anxiety post-pandemic, I am here to encourage you to keep watching the little tidbits of videos that I throw out there when I can, when I do, because I'm not making a penny off this YouTube video. And I know with YouTube and some of the other social media platforms, you can capitalize on it just as easy as Dr. Orloff capitalized on the fact that I paid $18 minus my discount at Barnes & Noble for this book. I'm educating you for free through these videos. So if you're encouraged about where we as empaths are going in the future and you want to learn more on how to remove toxic relationships from your body, whether it's work, whether it's your relationship with food, your spouse, your children, your parents, your boss, yourself, shoot me an email. As the thunder rolls. Don't know if you can hear it, but I can. I love it when the thunder rolls and the sun's out and the shit falls on the floor. That's life, guys. But reach out to me. Send me an email. Hit me up at the bottom of this video. Tell me what you want to know. hollykingwellness@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. If you feel so called, share this video. And ladies and gentlemen, if anything, know this. I love you from a deep space of genuine joy. But that does not mean that there are not times behind the scenes when this camera is off that I don't go through some deep, deep, deep journey work, soul work. Carl Jung is one of my very favorite people to follow. And he's dead now. He's on the other side. But if I'm going to channel anybody's spirit, it's going to be somebody like Carl Jung. And when I go back and I look at the things that he wrote about the parasympathetic nervous system as a world-renowned psychologist, parapsychologist, I learned that I am not alone when it comes to realizing I am very divine. I'm a very special human being. And that the gift of healing, aka the Jesus energy, that flows through me to my clients, to my family, to my loved ones, it came with a price. And that price was I was born into a empathetic role as a healer. And so the greatest empaths have the biggest hearts of compassion for the world around them. But don't think for a minute that they don't have to pull their light back sometimes. Get their own self-care done, their own body work done, take a salts bath. They need to go out into nature, recollect their own energy, and then once they are in a place of restoration, they have the ability to give you that energy without you vamping them and taking from them that is not rightfully yours. And it goes both ways, ladies and gentlemen. It's called transference. And so anyway, I love you guys. hollykingwellness@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook under Holly King Wellness. I am Holly King Wellness, and I am Holly King signing off. So love you guys. Have a great and beautiful day. Be blessed and live the dream. We'll see you later. All right. Bye.